Good morning, everyone. My name is Dedrick Whipple. For those of you who don't know, I'm having my morning coffee, hazelnut. It's pretty good. Excuse me, but I wanted to try something new. You know, yes, I have the sniffles. I do have allergies. But anyways, I want to try something different. You know, um, I wanted to open up the table to talk about things that a lot of people have questions about. Now, I'm not saying that I have all the answers because I don't, because I'm looking for answers myself. But this is in hopes that people would get involved and we can start finding these answers together. We can pray together. We can do the research together. You know, a lot of times it helps just to talk, just to know that someone else has gone through these things. Or it may even help someone to avoid going through these things. Like I said, this is my first time doing this. I'm actually, of course, recording this thing in my room, walking around, drinking coffee. You might hear my cat in the background and everything. So, heads up, sniffles, cat in the background, coffee drinking. Yes, that's going to be a normal part of this first video. But anyway, I wasn't sure what to talk about on this first video. Um, so, I thought about a recent experience that I've gone through. And that first thing that came to mind was something we call the representative. I'm sure several of us have experienced um, meeting the representative. Um, if you haven't, I'll explain it a little better before I go into details as far as my experience with it. So, the representative is who someone presents themselves as through an initial meeting and over a period of time. Um, for many people, they believe that that is the person who they really are. That the situation is exactly what someone has made it seem, or anything. You know, I'm pretty sure you should get it by now. As far as my experience, of course, this is not the first time me experiencing it, but this time it was a little different. And when I say different, it made me feel a little more, I guess you can say, crazy. I mean, that's the best way I could put it. Crazy. Like I literally felt like I was losing my mind. Um, so on to the story. Um, I met this woman about 6.5, 7 months ago. Um, it blossomed into something that was unexpected. Actually, for both of us. Um, we literally spent almost every day with each other. Um, did everything together. Daily dates. Um, cooked for each other. Assisted with many things. Mind you, no, she didn't ask. Um, not all the time, at least. It was voluntary. So I do admit that I have stepped up as a man to assist someone that I was dating or thought I was dating. Um, we gym memberships, walks at the park, late night, early morning. Uh, she coming to get me because I'm having asthma attacks, taking me to the hospital, picking me up. You know, the whole nine. I mean, if I needed her, she was there. If she needed me, I was there. No hesitation. Even to the point to where, she told me I was more than enough. I was husband material. Um, all of the things that people things that she was looking for in people in the past. I possessed those things. Um, though yes, neither one of us were looking for a relationship. We seemingly started to divulge into each other while trying to maintain that I want to be single. um, but anyway, 6 months later, um, literally it just stopped. Came to a complete halt. Um, and I started to notice this thing, you know, and address it. And while addressing it, her responses started to make me feel like, okay, am I going crazy or is this girl delusional? um, we started not to talk as much at all. Um, we didn't see each other over a couple of weeks, you know. And a couple of weeks might not seem like a lot to you, but when you're used to seeing someone at least 4 to 5 days out of the week, you know, and all of a sudden it just seemingly vanishes, yeah, something's off. I mean, am I crazy for thinking that? Sorry about that. Just to give you a little more detail, I did move from the area that she's living to about an hour away. So I give her that. But then again, I was living almost an hour away from her prior to that too, and that never stopped anything. But anyways, I'm going too far into that. I promise you, I'm not feeling any type of way about it anymore. I'm not. Um, just thinking about some of the details, and like I said, it's my first time doing this type of thing, and I definitely did not think this out thoroughly. But anyway, yeah, she started to make me feel like, um, well, it started off as making me feel like I was imagining things, like things were to say, that she was just busy. And that eventually turned to, and I won't even say eventually, very quickly turned it to, I'm crazy for thinking that there was something, like as if we never had anything. That my expectations were crazy, which was basically that exactly those things that you said to me, exactly the things that we were doing. The fair expectation to me for involving ourselves in each other's lives the way we did is simply it continues. Even if we stopped hanging out as much, I would still expect to hear from you, talk to you, know how you doing. You know, I would figure we would have a great friendship. That didn't happen either. Um, Everything seemingly became obsolete. So now, this is where it came to me feeling like, okay, maybe I'm crazy for thinking that there was something. Maybe I'm crazy for believing that if we were to at least maintain a friendship, it would be much better than that. Those check-in phone calls. Hey, I was saying how you were doing. Talk to you later. Yeah, that. You know, am I crazy for feeling that way? For expecting that it will be more than just that? The hi and bye phone calls, not seeing each other at all. I just wanted to know that. Um, but yeah, the representative. Um, I shortly figured out that there was someone from her past back into her life. And that wasn't the whole thing. Um, I started to see who she really was. You know, she started to display behaviors, speak differently, um, everything was just different about her. Um, Things that I have never experienced from her. So it was fair for me to start feeling as if, okay, maybe I'm just losing my mind, but this is not the person who I initially met. This is not the person who I've spent my time with over the last 6 months. Um, and the representative itself, the person who presents themselves as a representative, is extremely selfish. Um, After looking back at not just only my situation, several situations that people have talked to me about, you know, it's extremely selfish. They don't understand how it affects people. You know, you allow people to become vulnerable, um, open up in ways that they normally won't open up. Share things that they won't normally share. Um, Sometimes it makes them more confident, at least in the beginning. Um, but I'm sure many have felt just like I felt in my recent situation. Am I crazy? um, it hurts people, um, even if it's involuntary. Um, Even those involuntary moments when people hurt someone, um, a lot of times I believe that, just like the representative, people are doing what feels good or what feels right for them in that moment, not thinking about the consequences of their decisions or actions or anyone involved. Therefore, it's the representative. Because if they're only doing what it is that feels good or right to them in that moment, they're not thinking about reality. I know that sounds like that doesn't make any sense, but think about it this way. For some people, the reality is they don't need to be in a relationship. They need to be by themselves, at least for the moment. But because everything feels right, everything feels good in that moment, they entertain, they get involved, they spend time. Therefore, that is the representative. Because it's the want, it's what feels right at the moment, not what's needed. They're not being real with themselves. So a lot of times they find out or come to terms with themselves and figure out that, hey, you know what? I really don't need to be with someone right now. I'm going to just put a halt to everything. Because now, this is what feels right. This is what feels good for me to be by myself, for me not to spend time. Not understanding how that affects the other party. Or caring to. And when the situation is discussed, it makes the other party seems, what I say earlier, crazy. Like they're doing too much, they're emotional, they're whatever, etc., etc. You guys know. Um, but anyway, I was hoping that anyone, someone who listens to this, one, either agrees with me, two, can use the same assistance I can, three, can enlighten me, or maybe I've enlightened someone on who the representative is. Maybe somehow, some way, we can discuss this and figure out how do we unmask the representative? How do we understand people for who they are from the beginning? Of course, if God is involved, uh, the Holy Spirit, they reveal these things to you. But I also want to hear other people's experience. You know, um, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I hope someone, somehow, some way, this helps them. You know, because they're not the only one who's gone through it. Um, and I want y'all to know you are not crazy. You are not crazy. Just like I'm not crazy. So, like the video, subscribe, share it. You know, things will get better later. Like I said, this is my first video. I'm doing this in my room. I'm walking around. I got the sniffles. Cat was meowing earlier. I'm drinking coffee. Um, Thoughts weren't properly put together, but I'm sure you guys get the point. At least I hope you do. Um, my name is Dedrick Whipple once again, man, and God bless. Y'all have a good one.